But yeah, I mean, if I was gonna watch a boxing match, this would be a good one. I don't know. I don't actually know anything about Jake Paul. I think he's related to Logan Paul, possibly. But even then, I've never cared about either of them. But Mike Tyson, on the other hand, I've kind of liked his biography. If you're going to read one, he's got a pretty cool one. Plus, you know, it brings me back to my younger years when the Fresh Prince was writing a rap about punching him, and he was in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Like, Mike Tyson's the only boxer that I've ever really known that kind of speaks to me on emotional, or like some kind of level. Any kind of level, really, in my sedentary lifestyle. Him and Butterbean. The Elder Seed Seer will wish to hear of your experience firsthand. Pray return to Gridania and make directly for the Lotus Stand. The Conjurer at Nafika's altar will be expecting you. Fare you well, Private Sugarheart. But yeah, I know Jake Paul's the favorite to win the match, which is interesting to me because it's kind of like, it's kind of watching like my generation lose to the new generation. Like, it feels like a signifying event that, like, my time is over. Which is a shame, because I'm still so far from being a success in my timeline. It's like, here's the best fighter from my generation. He's 90 years old. Please don't hit him too hard. And then he will hit him very hard. And Mike Tyson will be like, oh man. The end. Welcome back, Honored Scion. We who knew your mission have been most anxious to see you return. The Elder Seed Seer awaits you within. I mean, I kind of like the younger generation. That's why I stream to them. Although when I played Forza, there were people significantly older than me. Someone, like, told me how old their oldest son was, and he was older than me, and I'm like, dang, you 90. But you know what you're about.
You are returned to us, dear friend, and none the worse for bearing the heavy burden which I did press upon you. Most glad am I of this. I am informed that your efforts to negotiate a peace with Lord Ramu ended in conflict. Pray tell me, what befell? Ramu made trial of you? I fear there is truth to his claim. It is the darkness within us that attracts the darkness without. It cannot be denied that misfortune follows man. For evidence, one need only look to the conflict brewing in Cartano, or to the rising flood of refugees. Our shared struggle against the Empire should have served to seal our union. Yet the ties which bind the alliance strain under the weight of gross self-interest. As the scars of the calamity begin to fade, so too does our sense of common purpose. Yet now is scarce the time to forget our shared responsibility. If this new-sprung realm is to survive beyond its infancy, it must needs be nurtured by all. Eorzea must be as one, yet I fear that dream is still far off. On behalf of the people of Gridania and the elementals both, I thank you for all that you and your fellow scions have done. Full oft have I been compelled to look to you for aid of late, and offered all too little in return. As leader of this nation, I shall endeavor to prove a more worthy ally to your cause henceforth.
That's kind of nice. I have noticed that she does very little.
Lord Ramu has departed, yet the keening of this ill wind grows no less insistent. Voices of the forest, pray speak and I shall listen. What unseen evil begets this unease in my heart?
Like, the leader of Limsa Laminsa, like, straight up came with us and shot several dozens of Hagen. And the Elder Seed Seer is like, so the elementals told me that some shit's going down. It's over in that direction. Good luck. What genre of games do I like the most? Honestly, like board game and card game video games. Like, I always liked board games and card games, but, like, I just don't want to set up or have friends. So, like, those are high on my list. So, like, things like Slay the Spire, Monster Train, board game Top Shop for PS1, Final Fantasy vs. Dragon Quest, the Itadaki Street Special, Fortune Street, Cold Sept. Like, my dream game is probably like a new version of Cold Sept. But truth be told, I play every genre of game, which might be apparent if you've been following the channel for a long time. Like, I just love games. I tend to like shy away from the games that are like highly competitive. Like, Deadlock. Deadlock's coming out. Someday, who knows, like Valve's new MOBA first-person shooter, and I'm like, I don't want to play that. Like, week 2, I'm gonna need like 1,000 hours of experience just to remain competitive. I don't have that kind of time. You're a new follower? You just popped on your YouTube feed and you clicked? Oh, nice. You are new. Like, you've got a very similar name to somebody who like watched me play all of Chef RPG. But welcome. Which video brought you in? Was it the Gone VTubing? That one got me about 100 new people. 100 new friends. You were the same person? Oh, okay. This ends another daunting mission, eh, old? I hope Lord Ramu could be persuaded with words alone, but nonetheless, I can only admire the adroitness with which you responded to the Primal's sudden challenge. And it seems Urianger too was pleased with the outcome. What say you, old? Shall we gather back at the Rising Stones and ponder the lessons of the day? Yeah, let's do that. You were the same person? Gotcha. Okay, so it was you. I'm not crazy. I kind of like being a small creator because it's a lot easier to keep track of everybody. Somebody popped in not too long ago and I was like, hi, how's it going? And I'm like, hey, it's you. How's life over in Japan treating you? Because she went over there to teach English, and she was like, you remember me? I'm like, I remember everyone. I blew somebody else's mind because they were like, they just like sent some cheerful message, and it was like, good luck to you on your journey. And I saw that they had a decent number of subscribers and that they were a streamer too, and so I watched a few streams. And then I referenced one of the streams in the reply back to her, and her head exploded. She was like, oh, you know who I am. And I'm like, yeah. I've got Santa energy. I stalk everybody. Welcome back, old. Word of your momentous encounter with Lord Ramu has precedes you. I would fain share news of mine own, but Urianger's discoveries must take precedence. Upon witnessing your defeat of the Lord of Leven, our learned companion was struck with a profound insight regarding the nature of the Ascians' immortality. Let us assemble and discuss his observations together.
If everyone is ready, let us begin. Urianger, the floor is yours.
As all here assembled now know, in its final hours as our Order's headquarters, the waking sands did play host to a most unexpected visitor. I speak of the Ascian clad in white, Elidibus. Unwelcome though his presence was, his words that day did serve to confirm a truth long suspected, that the Ascians are eternal beings, to whom physical destruction is as a temporary inconvenience.
In the intervening time, Urianger and I have striven to discover a means by which the Ascians might more permanently be slain.
And 'tis my belief that we have found the thread that will allow us to unravel the twisted skein of their existence. In the moments prior to Leviathan's most recent manifestation, the Sahagin elder who summoned him was observed to undergo some manner of ascension. The etheric readings taken by Y'shtola at the time of this transfiguration have proven most enlightening.
The disruption to the flow of ether was sudden and dramatic. So tangible was the agitation, I scarce had need of my goggles.
The significance of Y'shtola's readings might better be understood in the context of mine own, taken at the instant of the Lord of Leven's demise. Unlike the primal, the Sahagin was not subject to etheric dissipation.
Before discussing our new discoveries, it may benefit us all to recall what we know of etheric behavior.
Things die and then they're dead. That's the behavior.
Let us begin at what some might call the end. When we who dwell in the material realm die, our spirits dissolve into the flow of ether and are returned to the ethereal realm. In turn, the restless energy which suffuses that plane streams back into our world, giving rise to new life.
'Tis as the heavens did decree, the way of all mortal souls.
I want to rent out a planetarium to explain the concept of death to my kids.
Twixt this world and the next do the ethereal currents swirl, bearing the very essence of life. Thus doth the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth continue unabated.
Primals behave somewhat differently. In order to manifest and then maintain a physical presence in this realm, they must consume vast quantities of ether, most often in the form of crystals. Though they may seem to live, their flesh is but ether given shape. Thus, a defeated primal leaves behind no broken corpse. Rather, the essence of its form seeps back into the land whence it came, and the energy of its shattered spirit is called back to the ethereal realm.
And there it waiteth, till next the prayers of the faithful do draw it forth from the sea of ether, to take their offering of crystals and make for itself a new body.
Which brings us on to the third group, the so-called immortals. They exist in a manner all their own.
Quite. Even as the Sahagin elder fell to the Admiral's musket shot, I witnessed the release of an ethereal cloud, which immediately took possession of a nearby minion.
A soul that dissipateth not upon the death of the flesh.
The secret of life everlasting, and in the claws of a Sahagin no less. But I wonder, what would happen to one of these obstinate spirits should there be no suitable host for it to claim?
If mortal death entails a return to the ethereal realm, it seems doubtful that the soul of an immortal would venture there.
Nay, it merely withdraweth a distance, unto the shore of the ethereal sea, perchance, but no further.
Yes, it exists in neither this realm nor the next, abiding instead in the space that lies between them. The Ascians took control of Thancred by means of a crystal of darkness, an artifact which, if our theories are correct, serves as a gateway to the place I have just described.
I was hoping people had forgotten about that.
I am sorry, my friend.
For a mercy, the weary road of our research hath brought us unto an answer.
The Sahagin ascended to an immortal state, but he did not possess a crystal of darkness through which to flee this realm. Thus was he consumed by Leviathan. If we could entrap the spirits of defeated Ascians in like manner, and thereby deny them resurrection...
Eat it. Oh.
Therein lieth the path to victory. Thou art most perceptive, my lady. Only when we have trapped the bodiless soul within an ethereal prison can we hope to defeat its unnatural constancy. Thus might even an eternal paragon be consigned to oblivion.
Stealing souls does seem like the ethical way to go.
These feats are, of course, far easier said than done. At present, we lack a viable means to entrap and extinguish an Ascian soul. Yet, I believe it to be possible. The pieces of the puzzle lie before us. We have but to put them together.
I will depart at once to convene with the sages of Sharlayan. Together shall we divine the steps by which our goals may be achieved.
I have the utmost faith in you, Archon.
Beg pardon, antecedent, but I would raise one final matter. Even now, a Sharlayan survey party seeketh to ascertain the fate of the students of Baldessian. Their findings shall soon be known to us. Though you harbor feelings of dread, I bid you surrender not to sorrow, but abide instead in hopeful prayer.
I shall, Archon. Thank you.
Oh, it's the Black Hoodie Club. The Lord of Levin is returned to the Aether, as was Leviathan before him. Ramuh's acquiescence was most intriguing. Did you see me nail that word? Inferno, Vortex, Crag, Whirl, and Levin all have now been humbled by the Bringer of Light. The limitless potential of man, Heidelin's servant, grows mightier by the day. Yet he prospers at great cost to his mistress, whose strength is all too finite. 7 times have the masses survived the rejoining, but their souls have grown weak and wan? Yet, even as it enervates, the ardor empowers our master. All that remains is to nurture the strength of the gifted, to forge the final key. And that is the task to which we bend our every effort. Divine seeds were ever wont to quicken in Eorzea's fertile soil. We need only lead men to the field, and by their eager hands shall a new deity arise. That which was shattered shall be made anew, and the one true God shall come again. Schmeidelin, the god of darkness. Hi, kitty. Whew. Sorry, I didn't mean to ignore chat for so long. I try not to interrupt the story, even though I did several times. Your favorite games are Overwatch, World of Warcraft, Genshin Impact, and Touhou games. I have had a great time playing all of those. Overwatch was really fun when it came out. I heard they're releasing Overwatch Classic, which, you know, I'm still kind of done with the whole thing. I'm like, you should have never released Overwatch 2. World of Warcraft, I did have fun with that. I never got super far. The farthest I got was as a Tauren warrior. I just liked being big, as you can see. Rawr. And Genshin Impact, I didn't play too much either. Like, I got to the point where it was like, things would be convenient if I spent money, and that's when I abandoned those games. As for Touhou, well, that just kind of varies from game to game. Since, like, the IP isn't owned by anybody, anybody can make a game with them. And so it's kind of, the lore is just kind of made up, it feels like. You can do whatever you want. All fun stuff.